Welcome to Talk of the Tatnam, where we the supporters get the chance to talk to players, coaches and backroom staff of Pooltown Football Club. In this episode we speak to Wes Fogden. Wes talks Eddie Howe, injury setbacks and his meticulous preparation for every match.
Hello Wes, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, not bad at all.
Good evening all. Good evening.
Good evening.
So we've had terrible weather. How do you sort of cope with that? I know all the games have been away that you've played recently. That must be frustrating, and of course you've still got to try and keep fit. You've got to try and keep sharp when there's these big gaps. How do you sort of carry on with that?
Yeah, it's really difficult to build the momentum. I think with the cups that we've been in as well, having players cup tied through different circumstances, I think in general playing cups and league has been quite disrupted for the league progress anyway for us. But obviously with the weather that's come in the last couple of weeks, it's again put back the league progress. So we pick up a couple of good results, Beaconsfield and then Didcot. You expect to go again, prepare yourself throughout training, and then it's called off again. So I mean, come Saturday it'll be 2 weeks since the last game, which as a player you just prefer them to come thick and fast. If it were me, I'd happily play Saturday, Tuesday all season because it's definitely beat training anyway, in my opinion.
I got a feeling the Tuesday, Saturday's coming.
You might get your wish.
Yeah, you might get a Thursday thrown in every now and again.
Yeah, just as it gets colder as well. That's happening.
Exactly.
Do you boost up training? Does it get a bit more intense when you know there's going to be no game or there's been a big gap? Do you try and keep a bit sharp?
It's difficult really because you only get limited time on Tuesdays and Thursdays to train at the facilities that we've got. So it's kind of down to the individual players themselves as well to keep themselves ticking over, whether that's gym sessions or extra running sessions to what they need really. But I mean, the game was off Saturday. We got a late call and most of the team kind of went down to David English and had a little 7-a-side, which was good for sharpness and good for fitness. And it was kind of a good team exercise in that respect. So hopefully come Saturday we won't be too far off it.
Who are the teams? Who's first pick?
I think
it was tough
we've
to
done
do
young v old, to be fair, so there wasn't any of that picking teams. It wasn't too bad, and of course the old ones come out on top as always.
Oh really?
Yeah, it always happens. The experience comes through in the end.
Cool. Actually, just going back to those games, the 2 away games, the 2 away wins in the league. Has there been a change of formation? Is that right? I think Alex was telling me at the games that there's appeared to be something a bit different. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we started working on a 4-1-3-2 formation. We've got a lot of central players and kind of lacking a little bit for wingers, especially with Pards out injured. So we're kind of packing the centre of the pitch at the moment with the numbers that we have, and it's quite fluid, to be honest. We normally play with a sitter and then 3 in front, and the 3 in front are kind of free to roam and get wide, get forward and things like that. So it seems to have worked pretty well in the last couple of games. No disrespect to the opposition we've played, but I'm sure there are maybe sterner tests to come when we play the likes of Salisbury and maybe Walton and clubs up and around the playoffs.
Has it had much of an effect personally on your position?
I mean, to be honest with you, I've played this formation before. I played it at Havant under Doswell, who we're playing on Saturday. He's now Shonen manager, so it'll be an interesting one to see whether he kind of works out that formation straight away or. But no, I think when I was playing under him, I was more on the outside of the 3. But the last game I was centre, so slight alteration, but nothing too major because you end up in different positions anyway.
With the Didcot game, obviously at the time, I think they still are. They were bottom of the league. Do you kind of go into those games kind of thinking, are they harder in a way because you know that if you don't perform and you don't get the result, that you'll be under a bit more pressure than, say, losing against like someone like Salisbury or Gosport or Walton, like that, the teams that are up there?
I wouldn't say so. I think conditions sometimes play to effect. Like the pitch wasn't amazing, so we had to overcome kind of that. We like to get the ball down, so it's a little bit more challenging at times. But I mean, in terms of the actual games itself, whether they're down the bottom or up the top, I think in this league especially, any team can beat any team on their day. So you just have to go in with a mindset of trying to win every game, and you have to give 100% and outwork the opposition in every game if you want to be successful.
It certainly felt that once the first goal went in against Didcot, that more would follow. I wasn't expecting a 7-0, but yeah, I certainly thought that we get the first goal. We'll score 1 or 2 or 3 today anyway. So yeah, it was definitely all credit to kind of Didcot and stuff like that, but it was a good result.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to score 7 against any team in this division is good going. I think probably it's been our most clinical and our most effective going forward. I think in previous games maybe we haven't been as ruthless, or we've just been a little bit rushed in our final third play, but I mean, it seemed to all come together against Didcot and some real quality on show.
You mentioned your time at Havant there on the formation you played. Can you tell us about your footballing career? Because you started at Brighton, I believe, and then you had a sort of fairly major setback, to say the least. Can you tell us about your career?
Yeah, so
there?
I signed for Brighton when I was, I think, 11, and then was kind of there all the way through the schoolboys, and then got my scholarship. And then just offered my first pro contract. So I signed 1 year pro, and then I had my problems. It's quite funny because I went back to pre-season. I was feeling it in the off-season, but I still went back to pre-season and kind of I was running around the athletics track and almost couldn't move really. And our youth team coach got made first team coach for that season because of the amount of youth players that got taken on pro deals. He got taken on as first team coach to kind of move with that momentum of players as well. And he was a little bit frustrated with the condition, especially myself, because normally I'm kind of one of the fittest players back to pre-season. I think it was kind of surprised at first at my levels of fitness. And it obviously wasn't until a month or 2 months later that the kind of problems unravelled after scans and x-rays and things like that.
It's just mental, isn't it? You know, how old were you at the time? 17?
18, yeah.
18, yeah. Just like, I mean, normal, footballers aside as well, you kind of start in the beginning of your life there, aren't you? Especially in your football career. To have something like that, I don't know how I'm 33 now, I don't know how I'd survive, like, kind of that mentality. I think also as well, like, it's not the first time you've had obviously not to that extent, but you've had a couple of bad injuries in your career. I think it was Mark White when you were at Dorking, who said I think you came back from a season-long injury, months earlier than he expected, and I don't think you were using the Dorking medical staff. So what is it that you could do alone to get the recovery and back playing so much earlier? Is it again just your commitment to being fit, I guess?
Yeah, I think so. I think that first injury with my back when I was at Brighton, as mentioned before, I think that kind of gave me the resilience that I kind of needed, which has served me well throughout my career. I mean, to be told that you'll probably never play football again at 18 was kind of a big blow to handle at the time. And all I was thinking was, geez, like this could be it for the thing I love most and the thing I've always wanted to do. That kind of could be it. And then as I went on, I'd done my ACL at Portsmouth, and the physio there was unbelievable. It was rehab. Like his plan and detail from kind of the day one after the operation to the finish was amazing. And when I went on to Yeovil, and then the next season I then done my other cruciate, and again I kind of had to deal with with that, but I had his plan still from the first one. So again, even at Yeovil, they only had one physio, even in League Two. So I was ending up doing kind of all of my own rehab in the gym on my own and things like that. I think in the end, it kind of builds your strength, mental strength up and things like that. And then it comes to the Dorking one, and they kind of said that you need an operation. And I think it was maybe 8,000 to go private, or that was kind of, and NHS was maybe 2-year waiting list. So it was either just try and rehab myself and see where I get to, or it was kind of calling it a day. I think I was 33 at the time, and I got in the gym as soon as I could, and started working off the program and exercises of what I had again, and thankfully I got back within, I think, 4 months. So again, it's just one of those where if you put the time in, you put the hard work in, you're mentally strong. I think you can overcome anything that's kind of in your way to a certain extent anyway.
How long was it after your time at Brighton but how long until you sort of were diagnosed with your back condition and then you kicked a ball again, do you think?
I think I ended up having the operation around August, September time. And I remember my first training session back, which was maybe end of April. So, I mean, it's not bad considering I was in like a full body cast from my chest down to my knee, not being able to kind of move. That was kind of about 3 months in that, in total.
Wow.
But again, really great kind of club and medical team to help me through that. There were some dark days. I mean, after the operation, I was going to bed at 3-4 a.m. Just with the security that other people are in the house, albeit they were asleep. It was just kind of knowing that they were there and I wasn't too bored and things like that. Because when I was getting up early and everybody was at work and training and this, that, and the other, the whole day just dragged and it was a lot more difficult. So if I almost slept and like when everybody was out and then kind of coming round when everyone was getting back from work, it helped me massively mentally in that respect during that time.
What was it like your first day back? Were you worried? Were you excited? Were you confident or sort of timid? I can imagine all sorts of things would go through your head.
Yeah, a little bit of both really, because I mean I hadn't trained with the first team that often anyway when I was a scholar. So it was always daunting when you made that step up from youth team training into the first team, because all eyes are on you. You don't want to kind of let anyone down in training and things like that. So to come back to training after having almost the whole season off, still kind of trying to find my feet with fitness and stuff like that. It was exciting, but also a little bit daunting at the same time.
It's an amazing story. All credit to you. I can imagine it must have been extremely tough. So obviously you mentioned your scholarship. So basically you're educated through football. You play football, and I think you work in football as well. Is that correct? Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I mean, the education that I had, I wouldn't have changed it for anything. The youth team coach that I mentioned before was Dean Wilkins, and his knowledge and kind of detail that he put into his sessions was probably not like any other coaches around at the time. He was miles ahead of where most people were in the coaching world back then. So a lot was kind of learnt over those couple of years in the scholarship. But yeah, throughout, I mean, even when I kind of went part-time, thought that was kind of it on full-time football. I went to uni for a year or so, doing kind of PE and football and things like that and coaching, before Bournemouth signed me. And again, now that I'm part-time, I'm still involved in Elite Skills Arena, a company that kind of produce and manufacture football training equipment. So it's kind of still in the game, and the passion is still there for football.
Full black screen of doom.
I was enjoying that. Where's it going?
I can see Yeah, I can see you're now the other way around, but I don't, I don't know what you.
Right, I can't remember what I asked now.
You were basically asking, I think.
Were you surprised that a team from League One, when you were playing in Conference South, were you surprised that a team of that level were coming in for you? And were there any other teams that kind of were after your services at that time?
Yeah, I think I was playing well. I haven't. It took me about 6 months to kind of adjust. The squad kind of changed a lot from when I joined in January to the season after. But I kind of my performances were very kind of strong. I was scoring goals, setting goals up. But I mean, it got to 1 or 2 years after consistently playing well, where I thought, okay, maybe it's kind of not going to happen now, and to get back into pro and full-time football. So that's when I decided to kind of go to uni and stuff. And again, like there's always rumours that scouts are kind of at the games and watching and things like that. But it kind of went on for a long time, and again, I was playing well. Was really happy with my performances. Again, the numbers were good, and I mean, you hear it, and in the end, you just think, I just keep playing. Like I'm here, I'm contracted for a long time. I'm just going to keep playing and enjoying and doing what I do, really. And if anything else come of that, then great. If not, then I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I'm kind of into my uni degree and things like that. So I was comfortable in my life to almost give or take, really, of what happened. I was still getting my football fix and kind of playing well, enjoying it. Good squad. But then again, Bournemouth came knocking, and it was kind of too good to kind of turn down. So I ended up leaving my degree and giving it another go. And I think you asked before, like, was it difficult transition to kind of step up again into that level? And I would say at first the biggest thing was probably the fitness and sharpness of being able to go every single day in training. Because when you're part-time, you're only doing Tuesday and Thursday evenings for maybe an hour, depending on what pitch time you get. So I think that was probably the biggest thing, and also probably like the mental sharpness as well. It's not just the physical sharpness, it's the mental sharpness. And with other lads kind of training full time, they're kind of a little bit more switched on to what's going on. So I would say it probably took a week or 2 weeks to really adjust to conditioning my brain and my body to where it needed to be. But I think I've always been a little bit fortunate with my fitness and my sharpness. It's for non-league players, it's never been too far off. So it did come back relatively quick, training day in, day out. So I was quite fortunate in that way. And then it was kind of like on the bench for Bournemouth, like at the start, coming on with 5-10 minutes to go each game, and not really kind of having too many opportunities to start with in the first handful of games. And then that moment come where I think there was an injury at half time. And I came on for the full second half and managed to do okay. And I think football is almost a little bit of luck and a bit of timing, because if I'd have come on at half time in that match and didn't kind of play well, that could have been it. Like there could have been kind of no trust and things like that. So it's taking that chance when it comes, really. And thankfully I kind of done that. And then after that half, I kind of started quite consistently. And again, kept my place week in, week out, going through the season.
Cool. Okay, well, we'll crack on, and I think this is going to be time for the new part of the show,
cool,
which we've called Simo Stats, where Alex is going to ask some questions about your own career.
I should have done some revision, really, shouldn't I?
It's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Okay.
I hope it's not too bad.
We'll see how we get on anyway.
Whisk was okay, wasn't he?
Tony was exceptional.
Tony knew it all.
But he's
so.
busy like that, isn't he?
Tony's exceptional.
Yeah.
I reckon he used the same website as I did, to be honest.
He probably looks at his stats every night before he goes to bed. He's one of them players, you know he's got that in him.
Yeah, you can tell he's on a goal bonus, the amount of goals he disputes on Facebook.
Yeah, he just counts back his money and then puts it into goals.
Sorry, Tony.
Well,
I'm not.
Sorry,
not,
Tony.
that's not sorry, no.
I'm not.
And now it's time for Simo Stats. Simo Stats.
So, Wes, who did you make your Brighton debut against?
I made it against League or Cup?
Cup.
Okay, Swansea.
Yeah, correct. Papa John's trophy.
Yeah. They had a good team that year.
Yeah, Tommy Elphick was in it, wasn't he?
Yeah, Tommy was in there.
Against Bournemouth in the FA Cup against Carlisle second round, you scored and provided an assist for who?
Oh, I know Pewey scored that game. I can't remember. Did Charlie Daniels as well? I'm going to say Pewey.
It was Ewan O'Kane.
I'm hoping those two actually scored in that game now, Pewey or Charlie.
Yeah, Pewey did, I think.
Okay.
I didn't look at that. I just looked at the one that he provided an assist for. For under Portsmouth, who did you score your first goal against?
Was it Bristol Rovers?
Correct.
Nice.
Yeah. Both teams were quite struggling at the time. And I think, from what I remember of my research, because I haven't got it in front of me, but I remember Portsmouth taking the lead a couple of times, and then I think you scored 20 minutes towards the end. Yeah, that was your first goal. And then, for what club have you scored the most goals for in a season?
It's got to be Haven.
Yeah. Do you know how many it was in the league?
I actually got Golden Boot. I think I got 19 in that season, but I've got a feeling one or two were cups. So I'm going to go 3 in the cups. I'm going to go 16.
I've got it as 14.
14, okay.
14.
Not
Nice.
not too far.
Yeah, not too far off. And then for Pooltown, against who did you score your first goal?
Ooh. Not including friendlies.
Yeah, not including friendlies.
I
League
know
game.
the friendly one.
Who was the friendly one?
It was Bournemouth. I think it was a header from a corner, actually, which I'm always going to remember a header because it's not very often that happens. First game of the season, Winchester.
It was, yeah. First game of the season, Winchester away.
Yeah, first goal of the season as well, I think.
Yeah. So not too bad. You only got one wrong.
Oh, that's all right.
It's pretty
That's
good.
pretty decent.
Yeah.
Pretty decent. I think you're second out of 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't do Toby.
Yeah.
I have to get him back. Alex, what's the site? You told me about this. It's not what we'd expect, is it?
Yeah, so, Wes, there's... I don't know if you've ever seen this. I don't know how often you go stat hunting, but there's a team, Aylesbury United. They've got an archive,
Okay.
and it's mental.
Right.
So, yeah, they've got all, like, most of Tony's, like, stats on there. They've got all of our stats from this season. Like,
Oh, wow.
apparently you've played in 17 games this season, apparently.
Okay.
You scored 1 goal. But, like, it's got the minute you came on, like, minute you came off, like, what minute you were yellow carded.
Right.
It's quite... I don't know who does it.
Yeah.
We'll have to find out.
It's absolutely mental.
I mean,
a gold
to be on
mine.
a club's website as well, it's pretty something special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll send John the link and I'll get him to send it to you. But like, it's it's almost a bit frightening to be
Yeah.
honest, how much data they've actually got. But like, you go onto like a player's profile and it clearly states on there, this player has never played for the club, nor does he play for the club. So I don't know where they get all their stats from, but it is fantastic. It's a good resource.
Maybe he's listening into our conversation right now. You never know. Maybe that's why the internet failed on us for a little while.
So we're now going to move on, if that's all right with you, to the quickfire and fan questions. I'll just go first. There's a very quick one, I think. Which football team do you support?
These days, I don't really have a specific team. More so my fantasy team, if I'm honest. I'm a big supporter of my players that I've got in the squad.
Oh yeah, no, I forgot. I should have made a note of that, because you were top of the league, weren't you, on the Poole Town?
I think I'm just in behind Kai at the moment.
Right, come on. How many points you got?
Oh, can I probably check now? Actually,
Yeah, come on. I want to know.
It's Foggy's Foreigners.
yeah,
is that right?
that's it. Stuck with me for years now, that name. So Superstition, I've got to keep it. I've done well with it over the years.
Mine's Tika Mo Salah.
Yeah, that's nice.
So
Slightly
bad.
questionable.
Right, I'm on 750.
Right, this interview's terminated. We're off.
What have you got?
738.
Oh, it's not bad.
I'm really stuck with what I need to do this weekend because
A few
I've got
problems,
injuries
haven't you?
left, right, and centre.
Yeah. Have you done your wild card?
Yeah, I played it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, so did I.
Oh no. Oh, we'll work that out when it comes to it.
Take some hits.
Who did you support as a kid? Were you a Brighton fan like growing up near there?
Yeah, so I grew up supporting Brighton. My grandparents, my dad and that were all supporters. My grandparents were actually season ticket holders even through the Withdean years, and travelling to Gillingham and stuff like that when they ground shared. And then I think kind of as you get deeper into football career yourself, football kind of changes in terms of like watching it and things like that. I kind of just watched to almost learn more so than just watch as a fan. I think United were my Premier League club. Obviously, they were successful when I was growing up. A funny story, actually. I think I was about 2 or 3. I don't know how old I was, but it was Chelsea United in the cup final, and my dad and my brother were both Man United. But where I was a little bit smaller for the average kind of age, they went to the shop. It was my birthday, April time. So they can't get hold of a Man United kit in my size. So they was like, well, what have you got for us? I was like, I've got this Chelsea kit. So I ended up getting a Chelsea kit for my birthday. And then FA Cup final comes along, and United Dingham 4-0. It was the last time I ever wore that kit, and I was United ever since then. So
I think when you said United, you could both see the disappointment in mine and John's face.
yeah,
I think it just drained out of me.
yeah. I mean, they're not a pretty watch these days.
No,
But
it's great.
yeah.
It's a great neutral watch.
Yeah.
Right, Wes, you're in Tesco's. You're a bit hungry. What's your go-to meal deal?
Do you know what? I used to have a Tesco's meal deal now and again, but they're not nice, are they? We've got a Boots next door to where I work, so I'll give you my Boots one.
Yeah, go on.
Probably a chicken and bacon Caesar wrap. Because you go for a sandwich, the breads are always stale, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And then I'm probably going as like a yogurt granola kind of for my snack, and then a fresh orange juice, I'd say.
Nice. I wouldn't expect anything less from you, Wes.
Yeah,
that is the epitome of a healthy lunch.
it could have been a lot.
We should credit Harry Tonks with that question, as it's it's
Harry.
Perennial, but we'll.
At least it's not a ham and cheese roll.
Who goes for one of them? Not Tony.
Yeah, it was Tony.
Was it? Yeah, of course it was.
Dead Deb Milden.
Yeah, 100%.
Got a question here from Ethan Burney. You've touched on it already, to be fair, but it was about your injuries and setbacks. How do you cope mentally with those? Do you have a sort of system?
I think the early stages are kind of, you get your enjoyment out of food for me. So I kind of replace playing and being mobile with food. And then once that kind of dies away and the guilt comes in after a couple of weeks, it's kind of then like focusing on your exercises. Hopefully the swelling's gone down or whatever it might be. And then it's just getting back into that gym and kind of helping your brain to tell you it's kind of on the right direction and getting better.
So you actually see a little opportunity to indulge in some things you wouldn't normally have. It's interesting.
Yeah, just as a replacement of some excitement, to be honest. Like where you don't get the adrenaline from football or that fitness kick, it's kind of you look for it elsewhere, and I think that's probably why a lot of ex-footballers are kind of either fat or they go on to alcohol or something like that.
Neil Ruddock.
Yeah, Neil Ruddock.
Yeah.
God, what a hero. And next question I've got is from George Fullerton. What's your opinion of Eddie Howe and having played under him at Bournemouth?
Just the best. Coaching, man management, person. He's got everything that kind of you need to be successful. So driven, almost a control freak, because like he knows what he wants and he knows how to get it. And it's funny because we were struggling when he first came in, and then obviously, like as I mentioned before, like we just kind of hit the gas, and the sessions that he was putting on for us, and kind of the partnerships with the overlaps, the underlaps, and kind of working harder for your teammate and things like that. As soon as he went to Newcastle, like you saw the same patterns of play as what he was coaching us. So it's a process and it's a method which clearly works, and he gets players buying into it and kind of coming together as a squad.
Can you see him as the England manager?
I can. Like, I'm sure he'd do a great job. But I think it would be a waste. I don't know. I feel like as an international manager, you don't quite have enough to give, if that makes sense. Like you can go and watch games and things like that. But where he kind of comes into his own is that day-to-day management, but also on the training pitch and getting his methods and ideas across to the players. And I don't know how much you could get across to a team in such a short space of time that they do have on international duty.
I've got a question from Wayne Nippard, which I think is based on his observations of you turning up to the games. What do you keep in your match day backpack?
As in food, or just?
I think just generally. You always seem with a backpack, and I think he wants to know what's in it. Is it some spare shin pads?
I always look after my own kit. Own stuff. Don't leave anyone to touch my stuff. Very superstitious, so I always go in with my wash bag first. I'm going with my towel, my boxer shorts, maybe an Under Armour, and then on top of that, I've got my GPS box, my GPS vest, and then on top of that, I've got my shin pads. On top of that, my flip flops. And then my 2 pairs of boots on top of that, and then I finish with an energy drink.
Oh wow!
Nice.
So you know the exact packing order as well, not just what
it's
goes
got
in.
the layers on the order, and every single game it'll be the same.
That's very superstitious.
Wow.
That's
Yeah. And to be honest with you, sometimes I look forward to retiring, so I don't have to be that methodical, and I don't have to.
Do you have any others? And actually, every time we've asked for these questions, someone said any matchday superstitions, and you're the first person to not get that, and you're also the first person to have some. So do you have any others?
Yeah, I mean, I always have the same meal the night before. I always do my same core session the night before. I do porridge the night before. I do a foam roll. I do the same stretch every night. And then when it comes to actually the game, I my left sock on, my right sock, and then when I come in, it's always left and then right. So, yeah.
Didn't somebody else say that?
Yeah, actually, Jamie said he said left before his right, both shin pads and boots on.
Yeah, it's just little things that if you do it one game and you do well, then you kind of just end up doing it. It's like stupid things. Like at the moment when I come to put the actual match shirt on, I kind of like hold it down. I look at the number a couple of times and then I put it over my head. It's just little things which end up creeping in, but it's crazy how it kind of keeps you doing it over and over.
That's impressive. Is it mostly subconscious, or do you quite strict with yourself when you go back?
Yeah, I just think like in my head, it's just I'm an overthinker in all aspects. So if for example after a game, like if I do 100 things well and one thing bad, I'll always think about that bad or misplaced pass, what could I have done better? And I'll just overthink like certain aspects of everything really.
And we do have one more question. I actually didn't write down the name. I meant to ask it earlier also. After the game or after your playing days, do you plan to move on to coaching?
I mean, I dipped my toe in under Tommy. I was doing the coaching for the team at the start of the season before Tubbsy came in. And I really enjoyed it. It was a lot in terms of having to train yourself and coach at the same time. But it's definitely something which I feel I can give something back. But just to be involved in football in any shape or form is kind of what I'd like to do.
Yeah, you can tell how much you love the game.
Yeah, definitely.
I've got one last question, if that's all right, and it's from myself.
Yeah.
Even though I ask a lot of questions, what's Mark White like? Is he like exactly how he is on Dorking Uncovered, or is that all for show?
No, he's exactly the same. He's such a great guy. He's such a legend. Like we got on really well. He's funny, like, but he actually he's so intelligent with what he does in terms of off the field, but also setting the team up on the field. Like he knows how he wants to play. Like he's got great knowledge, and then what he's done with the whole club in general and the sponsorships and everything like that. He's just so intelligent and just a great guy as well.
It's not often you get someone who's the owner. He basically does everything at the club, doesn't he? Now, like, obviously Dorking as well. I know we're running out of time here, but with Dorking, did you know much about Mark before you joined, or was Mark kind of like the key selling point kind of thing?
No, not really. I didn't really know about the history or anything like that. Obviously, Jason Pryor, who I was with at Havant, went there. Ed Harris as well, and then Elfie had just signed just in front of me, so I knew like a few players there. So I thought, okay, like this could be a good fit. Like everyone says that he likes to play football, and that would fit in well. And then from the first time that he sent me a voice note or we spoke, I just knew that it was going to be a good couple of years.
As soon as you said voice note, I've just instantly got his voice going around in my head. Like, I don't know if do you watch it? Do you watch them at all, John or Wes? Do you watch Dorking Uncovered at all?
No, do you know what? I've never watched a full episode from start to finish. But
so good.
I mean, even to this day, like me and the missus will always kind of watch the pre-match interviews with Mark and the post-match just to get our fix. Just almost not imagine that I'm there, but just funny, like just cracks me up.
It's so
good
good.
time.
When they lost recently, I think it was in the trophy. Oh my god, that was brilliant. Where he goes in hard on everyone. I was laughing so hard.
I think when someone just says what they think or feel, like
it's great.
You just hold your hands out and be like, well, he's honest. Like you prefer honesty than a load of bull crap. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. It's why I quite like interviewing Matt Tubbs like at the end of games because I know he's not going to kick off in the way that Mark White can do. So, yeah, I'm quite glad Tubbsy isn't like that, to be fair.
You'd have a journey, though. You'd have a journey.
Oh,
Right.
perfect.
Thank you very much, Wes. If you've just got 1 minute to talk about Sholing coming up, I think there is going to be a game this weekend. I think the weather forecast is good. I don't know if they're a plastic pitch or anything out there, but let us know what you think about the game.
No, I think it'll be a tough game. We played them in the cup, didn't we, a month or two ago? And there's some really, really good individuals. Not sure what their pitch is going to be like. Wouldn't imagine it would be great, obviously, with the weather that we've had and things like that. They've just got, obviously, a new manager, which I mentioned before, in Doswell. So I'm sure it's gonna be a tough game. But after a couple of away wins in the league recently, kind of in the past 2 matches, we need to see it as another opportunity to try and hang in around those playoffs, which was the target for Christmas.
Yeah, it's getting tight. Alex and I were discussing it before you came on, how tight it's getting at both ends. What was your stat about Hayes, Alex?
Well, Hayes are like 5 points off relegation, but 9 points off the playoffs. Like, and they're, I think they're like 16th, I think it is.
Yeah.
16th.
Yeah,
it's mental.
I think it goes back to what I said earlier. I think any team on the day in this league can beat any team. So
exactly.
it's every game is a tough game, and you need to perform your best.
Nice. Well, I'll see you up there. See you on Saturday. Best of luck.
Yeah, look forward to it. Look forward
to it myself.
Thank you very much, Wes. I'll
Cheers,
let you go.
No worries. Cheers, guys.
All right. All the best for the weekend.
Cheers,
Cheers, Wes. Thank you very much.
Right.